Yulia Ivlieva.
I want to dedicate this show to my daddy. Thank you, dear, for being with me in this life. This is not the show to find someone you've lost. Yes? Come on, I love it.
It's some strange feeling that I probably have for the first time in my life.
Those common family stories manifest generations later, in children. And it does not matter whether a person knows their father or does not know their father. All right. In general, I need a standard mistress who doesn't show off.
But he's here, too.
I hope his wife is not here. You can't go through this without jokes. This topic is very difficult.
Mom, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And Dad is missing. Fine. It's so complicated in here, but Dad is absent. How do you feel?
Very bad. I need to sit down. Otherwise, I can't take it anymore.
I think it turned out to be a beautiful work. Girls, this is what keeps the universe going. Dad, you've actually rocked a cool topic. That's all. Let's break up. This is Show Method, a show without a script. Today we will talk about the father topic and what your plots and scripts relate to this. Let's go. I want to dedicate this show to my daddy. We talked very warmly on the phone today. I love my dad very much. His name is Andre. Thank you, dear, for being with me in this life. And what a blessing it is that I can talk to Dad. Which of you is interested in this topic? I need someone who doesn't know at all who their father is. Are there any of you who don't know your father? So, come on. Yeah. This is not the show where you can find someone you've lost. Is there a girl among you who has a wonderful, close relationship with her father? No. Okay, one more time. I have... Oh, you're perfect. Let it be you. Just, That's cool. Hi, what's your name?
Elena.
What's your name?
Anna.
Anna and Elena. Good. Tell me, please, what do you know about your father? And have you ever contacted in your life?
We had no contact at all. He doesn't even know that I exist. I know that his name is Victor, that he is 5 years younger than my mother, and that's it. I don't know anything else. I talked to my mom about this topic. It's like she has a taboo. She just doesn't want to tell me anything.
Who raised you?
I was with my grandmother until I was 6, and then with my mother and stepfather.
What's your stepfather's name?
Sergey.
Sergey, good. It's a popular name in our show. Tell me briefly about your father. What's his name?
I have a dad. His name is Alexei, and he is a wonderful father, a loving father. I have not heard any other name except Sonny, baby, from him. And I'm very grateful to Mom and Dad for almost everything that I have in my life.
Good. Wonderful. You can't see what I'm hinting at yet, can you? Well, I'll hint louder. I'll suggest some phrases to pronounce, and we'll see how your body will react and what will be revealed. Say, and it seems,
And it seems
that I'm still
that I'm still
looking for my dad,
looking for my dad,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I missed my dad so much
that I missed my dad so much
that I wanted to place him
that I wanted to place him
in other men.
in other men.
And I was looking for a partner
And I was looking for a partner
to place my dad in,
to place my dad in,
who would take care of me,
who would take care of me,
protect me,
protect me,
carry me in his arms.
carry me in his arms.
And ideally, he would be much older than
And
me.
ideally, he would be much older than me.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the
at which
price
I got it.
at which I got it.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
How do you feel?
My cheeks are blushing. My ears are burning. I'm just shaking.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that the task is to find dad
that the task is to find dad
has become my life's purpose.
has become my life's purpose.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
I do not know if it is visible to the audience and whether it will be visible on camera, but there is a massive body reaction. Red spots appear on the body. It burns. I can see how the body responds to these phrases. How do you feel?
It's like I was carried away somewhere.
Come back. Tell us if you are ready. A little bit about your male-female relationship and about the partners you chose. Have you noticed the type of men who can take care, protect, or that you are attracted to men 7 or more years older, and ideally 12 to 15?
Well, I've been married for 20 years, and I had a feeling, even though my husband is 2 years older than me, I always have the feeling that he's older. He just has such a character, and I feel really like a daughter with him. I ask him where I should go. It's like I'm constantly waiting for permission.
How long have you been married? 20 years?
22 years.
And how old are you?
I'll be 41 on January 3rd.
You don't look 41. You don't look like 41 so much that if someone had told me you were 23, I would have believed it. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that some part of me
that some part of me
is still stuck in childhood and adolescence,
in childhood and adolescence,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it,
at which I got it,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Do you see what I mean, right? That the girl doesn't look her age. Still, there's a big difference between a teenager and a 41-year-old woman. A woman is not the equivalent of old, right? Good. Getting stuck in adolescence. Saying, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I was looking for my dad
that I was looking for my dad
in the bosses,
in the bosses,
that they will take care of me,
that they will take care of me,
provide me, and my safety,
and my safety,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it,
at which I got it,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
How do you feel?
It's calmer now.
Did your dad fit in your supervisors well?
Well, I worked in an ambulance.
Wow.
Yes, I'm a doctor.
Wow.
For some reason, my managers were mostly women, and the heads of departments were men.
Interesting. What do you know about your father, except that his name was Victor?
Well, there is no reliable information. I don't know anything.
Didn't Mom tell you anything?
She doesn't tell me anything. She says, "You have a father who raised you. There are no more questions."
Substitution. Are there women replacing their child's own father with some very beautiful man right now? Telling a kid that it is him? Just one? Good. Fine. Thank you for being honest. Thank you very much. Do you know under what circumstances your mom and dad met?
I don't know the circumstances. I know that my mother did not know about me until she was 5 months pregnant. When she had a medical examination for work, she found out. She had menstruation for all these months.
For all 5 months?
Yes.
Wow.
I was born prematurely, 7 months.
Wow. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that in my birth,
that in my birth,
there is no mistake,
there is no mistake,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
The fact that I was born,
The fact that I was born,
it had to happen,
it had to happen,
but I was hiding so well,
but I was hiding so well,
so that no one would guess,
so that no one would guess
until the last moment,
until the last moment,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
And some part of me
And some part of me
still doesn't know that I was born,
that I was born,
and I give that part space.
and I give that part space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that
at
experience
exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it,
at which I got it,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
How do you feel?
It's like there's more air in my chest.
That is, imagine that only in the 5th month of pregnancy, Mom finds out, and she's been menstruating all this time. Imagine how well you hid inside. Say this phrase, and it seems
And it seems
that I'm still hiding,
that I'm still hiding,
so that no one would see.
so that no one would see.
It's hard for me to manifest,
It's hard for me to manifest.
and I give it space.
And I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it,
at which I got it,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
And how did you choose a profession, medicine?
Since childhood, I wanted to be a pediatrician neonatologist. I looked at advertisements and healed toys, trees, and picked up animals.
But your mom didn't practice medicine?
No,
Your grandma?
no one in the family is in medicine. That is, I am the only doctor.
I'll tell you a terrible secret.
I'm ready.
There is a very strong probability that your dad is a doctor, or that there are many doctors in the family. Your professions, interests, things that you do, they don't come out of thin air. The genetic system is not a toy. It's not water. This is a very powerful structure that carries information, among other things. If a child is interested in this, engaged in it, treats toys, then somewhere in the family 100% were healers, midwives, people connected with medicine, either directly by profession or due to the life circumstances, they were nurses. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family
all those in my
and in my
family
reincarnations
and in my
who
reincarnations
practiced medicine,
who practiced medicine,
and I give them space.
and I give them space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that since I was born,
that since I was born,
I've wanted to save babies,
I've wanted to save babies,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it,
at which I got it,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Awesome. Your father's name is Victor, and your stepfather is...
Sergey.
Stepfather Sergey, father Victor.
Может быть, совершенно случайно так совпало, что
Is there by any chance among the beautiful men in the hall someone named Victor?
по имени Виктор.
Do we have any Victors? There is no Victor.
А Сергей?
How about Sergey?
Есть ли Сергей?
Is there Sergey?
Так.
All right,
хорошо.
good.
Сергей, который на заднем
Sergey,
ряду.
who is in the back row, please.
Да-да-да.
Yes, yes, yes.
А маму как
What's your mom's name?
Lubov.
Любовь.
Lubov. Look
Смотри,
how
как
interesting this
интересно. Я
is.
спрашиваю, есть ли в зале Виктор,
I'm asking if there's Victor in the room, but there is no one.
что на уровне твоей системы
He is
он
hidden at the
спрятан,
level of your system,
что в зале,
even in the hall,
несмотря на то, что много людей,
despite the fact that many
Виктор
people are
достаточно
men,
распространенное
and Victor
имя,
is a fairly common name.
вдруг нет.
He suddenly is not here.
Просто интересно.
It's just interesting to watch such things, isn't it?
Хорошо. А может быть,
Well, is there
совершенно-
completely-
А я вот
Oh,
видела,
I
я
see.
даже спрашивать не
No, I'm not even going to
вас
ask.
нашла.
I found you, Victor.
буду. Да. Вы прям
Yes,
очень
you're a
классно
very cool
подходите.
fit.
Только не говорите,
Just
что
don't
вы
tell me
не
you're a
идиот.
doctor, or they won't
Не
believe me.
поверят. Он
He smiled.
улыбнулся.
Yes?
Да
Come on, I love it.
ладно? Обожаю.
My gosh, come in.
Заходите. Офигеть.
I'm shocked.
Сейчас мне надо...
One moment, I need to breathe.
Как
What
тебя
is your
зовут?
name?
Anton.
Чем ты занимаешься?
What do you do?
I repair digital equipment.
Хорошо.
Okay,
Ты поулыбался
but
про
you were
медицину.
smiling about medicine.
I have a medical degree. I graduated from the medical academy.
Класс.
Awesome.
Занимаешься
Are you engaged in
этим?
technology?
It's my hobby. Yes, I'm into a hobby.
Is this your profession now?
This is my profession now.
Хорошо.
Good.
А встань, пожалуйста.
Please
вот
stand
сюда.
here.
А ты, ну вот чуть-чуть
And you're a little
подальше,
further
нет,
away.
подальше. А ты повернись.
And you
к нему.
turn to him.
Посмотри, вот это
Look, this is the figure of your
фигура
father,
твоего
Victor.
отца. Виктора. Пока ты побудешь Виктором.
You'll be Victor for now.
Скажи, я тебя
Say,
вижу.
I see you.
I see you.
Что
What do you
чувствуешь
feel at this
в это
moment?
время?
I feel so warm. I want to stand nearby.
А как
How do
ты
you
себя
feel?
чувствуешь?
It's very calm, and I'm very glad that we met.
Скажи, я не
Say, I
знала
didn't know
твоего
about your
существования,
existence,
I didn't know about your existence,
но ты у меня
but you
but you
manifest in my life
manifest in my
as
life
actively
as actively
как и
as I
я.
manifest in yours.
as I manifest in
У меня
yours.
вокруг
Say, there are
There are
a lot of women
a lot of women
named Lena around me,
named Lena around me,
я
and I
даю
give it
им.
space.
and I give it space.
Как ты себя чувствуешь?
How do you feel?
It's some strange feeling that I probably have for the first time in my life. I can't
Давайте я
describe
другим
it.
объясню, кто будет
Let me explain to
смотреть,
others who will be
типа,
watching where it
откуда
came
это
from.
взялось, вдруг, и так далее, и так далее. Шоу-метод.
The
Шоу
method is a
без
show without a
сценария. Как
script.
я работаю. Есть
How do I
некие
work?
принципы,
Everything is based on certain principles. The world is interconnected by some events, situations, stories, professions, male-female relationships. Everything in the world is interconnected. And when there is some element in the system, the father is one of the most important people in the system. You know? Lions give birth to lions, tigers give birth to tigers, hedgehogs give birth to hedgehogs. The hedgehog can't give birth to a bulldog. These are incompatible things. And those stories that are common in the family, they manifest themselves in generations, in children. And it does not matter whether a person knows their father or does not know him. I've talked to Elena. I ask, do you know your father? She says, I don't know. I only know his name, Victor. But she has been practicing medicine from the very beginning. She was interested in it from her birth. She treated toys. But from what she knows, no one else in the family is practicing medicine. So I assume that she has it from her own father. It didn't come out of thin air. I put the figure of her father, Victor, and it just matches. You saw. I didn't ask what the man does. He has a medical education, and he stands up here as a figure. So the system is designed in such a way that there, on the other side, her real father, Victor, does not know about her. Her mom only found out at the 5th month, and he does not know for sure. But the system is designed to manifest every excluded member of the genus. If there is a topic of medicine in her system from dad, then according to the system laws, the daughter, whom he does not know about, manifests herself somehow in his system 100%. Maybe names. Maybe later he married a girl 15 years younger than himself. I don't know how, I just know some axioms. How it all works. And based on them, I'm sorting out everything else. The skeptics who will be watching will ask, where did she get this from? She invented it herself, it's a bit of a stretch. No, it's a kind of philosophy that I'm broadcasting to the world. I demonstrate here what it looks like for people in real life. Then you will be able to understand something about yourself looking at other people's lives. It's not just to understand, but to make it clear that the way everything happens in your life did not come out of nowhere. The world is made of various systems, and generic systems is one of the strongest systems that affects everyone's life. It doesn't just affect your life. These codes are encrypted in your system. So it's a sleight of mind and no magic. How do you feel?
I feel very good now.
Say, I found you.
I found you.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
my own father,
my own father,
the way he is,
the way he is,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
Say, Dad,
Dad,
thank you for my life.
thank you for my life.
This is the most valuable thing
This is the most valuable
that
thing
you gave me.
that you gave me.
Dear Dad,
Dear Dad,
you don't
you don't
owe me anything.
owe me anything.
You gave me the best
You gave me the best
you could.
you could.
How do you feel?
I feel good. I've been waiting for these words for a long time. I wanted to hear them.
I have an unpleasant question. Do you know something about yourself, like
что, может быть, в твоей системе есть
Maybe there's a
ребенок,
child in your system in whose life you
в
do not
жизни
take
которого
part.
ты не принимаешь участие.
Не знаю.
I don't know.
А может ли быть
Could there
такая
be such a
вероятность?
possibility?
Может.
Maybe.
Скажи, и
Say, and
возможно,
maybe,
И
And
возможно,
maybe.
у меня
I
тоже
have a
есть
daughter
дочь,
too,
I have a daughter too
о
that I
которой
don't
я
know
не
about.
знаю.
that I don't know about,
and I
Я
give
даю
it
этому
space.
Я даю
and I
ему
give it space.
Любой человек, выходящий в роли какой-то
Any
фигуры,
person representing some kind
вы
of figure
здесь
fits in
стыкуетесь
perfectly.
идеально. Это не так, что один
It's not like you
постоял
stood on her
сбоку,
side and
ну,
then
говорит, ну,
said,
классно, я вот Антоха,
well,
добрый
cool, I'm
парень,
Anton,
помог
a
девочке
kind
Лене,
guy. I helped the
я
girl
тут
Lena.
за папу постою, но ко мне не имеет
I'm
никакого
representing a
отношения.
dad here, but it has nothing to
Нет,
do with me.
сюда в эти роли фигур могут попасть только те
Only
люди,
those
у
people who
кого в
have
его
similar
кодах
information in their codes can get
есть
into these
схожая
roles.
информация. И это может быть информация на уровне
The information may
его,
be at
а
his
может
level
быть
or at his
информация на
dad's,
уровне там, его
grandfather's,
папы,
great-grandfather's level, and
дедушки,
so on.
прадедушки и так далее, что
But the
совмещение
codes
кодами
combined.
произошло. Сергей, встаньте туда.
Sergey,
тоже
get
в
up
ту
there
часть.
too, in that part.
Как ты себя чувствуешь?
How do you feel?
Нормально.
Fine.
Как ты себя чувствуешь?
How do you feel?
Хорошо.
Good.
Какие
What are your
чувства,
feelings about the stepfather's
к
figure?
фигуре отчима?
Ну, уважение.
Well,
такое
respect.
доброе
I have a good
какое-то
feeling for him.
отношение.
Скажи, я благодарна
Say
тебе
thank you
Я благодарна тебе
Thank you
за твой
for your
вклад.
за твой
contribution.
вклад.
for your contribution.
Как себя чувствуешь?
How is Sergey feeling?
Well, it's kind of a little disturbing, I think.
Скажи, мне
Say,
было
it was
тяжело
hard for me
It was hard for me
in
в
this
этой
situation.
конструкции.
in this situation.
Я не мог
I
тебя
couldn't
заменить.
replace your father,
I couldn't replace your father,
Как
no
бы я
matter
ни
how hard I
старался,
tried,
no matter how hard I
но я не
tried,
он.
but I'm not
Но
him.
я не
but I'm
он.
not him.
От того, что в прайде
Due to the fact that a lion cub is raised in the pride of
воспитывают
tigers,
львенка, у львенка
stripes will not appear on
полоски
his body.
вырастут. Он
He was
родился
born a
львом,
lion,
родился с ДНК
born with the
льва,
DNA of a lion,
и кто бы
and
его
whoever
ни
raised him,
воспитывал, он остается
he
львом.
remains a lion.
Так
So
же
are
и
you.
вы. Чем бы вы ни занимались,
No matter what you do,
какую
no
бы
matter what
профессию
profession
ни
you choose,
выбрали, кого бы
no matter who you put in
в
place of mom and
замещение
dad,
вместо мамы и папы не ставили, но вы дети
but you are the
своих
children of your
родителей,
parents,
и ровно таких родителей,
and exactly the
какие у
kind
вас
of parents that
есть.
you have.
И чем быстрее вы
The sooner you
примете
accept your
своих
parents for who they
родителей
are,
такими, какие они есть, перестанете
stop
подменять
substituting
понятия,
concepts,
что
thinking,
«Ой, да он вообще не
oh, he didn't bring me
воспитывал,
up, he's not the
он
right
такой,
person, he drank, got
да он
lost,
пил,
or did something else.
гулял, еще что-то там делал». Чем больше
The more
вы
you
так
do
делаете,
this,
тем
the more
больше
you
вы из
exclude the
системы
father from the
исключаете
system
отца. И исключаете
and
часть
exclude a part
себя,
of
потому
yourself,
что каждый
because every
человек на
person is
100%
100%
состоит из
dad
папы, на
and 100%
100% из
mom.
мамы. У вас нет ни одной клеточки от
You don't have a
соседа.
single cell from your neighbor.
Каждый из вас это 100%
Each of you is
папа и
100%
100%
dad and
мама,
100%
слитые в
mom,
единую
combined into a
систему.
single system.
И когда в
And
системе
when the father is
идет
denied in the
отрицание
system,
отца, что он
because he is not
какой-то
like
не
he has to
такой,
be,
что что-то с ним не
because
так,
something is
или
wrong with him,
пытаться
or you're
подменить
trying to
каким-то
replace him with some other
другим
man,
мужчиной, то это все
then it's
равно,
like
что
you're
вы
going to take a
возьмете
knife and
ножичком
start cutting
начнете
half the cells out of your
половину
body.
клеток из своего тела вырезать.
It's
Это
impossible, that is.
невозможно. Ну, то есть
It's
это
some kind of
BDSM
BDSM.
какой-то. Вы
You are
состоите
100%
на
dad
100%
and
из папы
100%
и на
mom.
100% из мамы. И то, что вы делаете,
And what you are doing is a
это
continuation of what they
продолжение
created
того,
as
что
best as they
создали
could.
они как могли. Если
If you want to
хотите
drive your children
снести
crazy,
голову своим детям, рассказывайте им,
tell them that
что
their
им
dad
папа
is a
козел.
moron,
Потому что вы тем
Because
самым
you are telling the
рассказываете
child
ребенку,
that
что
he or
он
she is
наполовину
half the
такой
same.
же.
Darling, I love you very much. You are a wonderful son. Or, daughter, I love you so much, but your dad is a moron. It's like you carve into pieces your own son and daughter this moment. How do you feel?
Calm. Good.
Good. What's your mom's name?
Lubov.
Lubov. It's a beautiful name, Lubov.
Yes.
Say to Sergey, I thank you
I thank you
for everything you've done.
for everything you've done.
I value this.
I value this.
Say, but you're not my dad.
But you're not my dad.
You're my stepfather.
You're my stepfather.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Let's let Sergey go. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We'll put Victor in your father's place. Stand behind her right shoulder. No, like this. You see, he intuitively stands next to you as a partner, but he is not a partner. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I got everything wrong,
that I got everything wrong,
and I wanted to marry Dad,
and I wanted to marry Dad,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Good. Do we have a woman named Lubov in the hall? There are two of them sitting next to each other. Let's pick up the one without the red lipstick. Further on. Who raised their hand? Are you Lubov? Let it be you. It's kind of weird. Well, all right. There's some kind of story with the mom, too. Good. Well, Mom took her place right. How do you like Victor's figure?
It's a common figure. There is no feeling that this is someone close, like a friend. It's just a nice man standing next to me.
Say, we are
We are
parents
parents
of a daughter,
of a daughter,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Just stand. Your task is to support your daughter. Your task is to support your daughter. That's all. As a man and a woman, they can blow each other's heads off. But these are different roles. Dear men and women, if you have children with someone, please separate the roles. Do I treat him now as the father of the child? Or as the mother of my children? Or do I treat her now like my sexual partner or my woman? They are different. It has nothing to do with each other at all. You can get angry at him as your partner, take offense, stomp your feet, "Ah, scoundrel," and so on. But this has nothing to do with him as the father of the child. Mom and Dad are in the system. They are already fixed. That is, it is possible to remain parents and do not have any relationship as a man and a woman at the same time. This is fine when you build these relationships like one parent with another one. Just separate these concepts. I understand that it's not easy. It seems like it's easy to tell these things. Believe me, this will be the best thing you can do for your children. Every child loves parents. Everyone. It happens that some events in life may prevent a person from accepting this love. Let's say if a dad is an alcoholic. Your brain starts telling you, well, how can I love my dad? He's an alcoholic. Put any definition that arises in your head. He's like that, not like that. Evil, scoundrel. Then there is an inside conflict. Because one part of you loves dad very much, and another part hates him. You can't come to an agreement with yourself, so he is an alcoholic and a stranger. Or do I love him like a child? You don't have to choose. Both feelings have the right to be. But in the base, in the core, there is always love. In the same way, parents always love their children. Always. This is the law of Mother Nature. This is a built-in basic function. All fathers love their children. All mothers love their children. All children love their parents. And only social stories prevent this from being shown. Layers of unnecessary stories. You reveal this love by going through these stories, living them, coming out of them correctly. You raise it from the bottom, this love. The love of a parent is something that will lead the child further in life. It's not just love. There is also such a wonderful concept, parental blessing. For your life, for your work, for your marriage. There are so many people living without parental blessing, with internal conflict. This partner is not right for you. She is not a match for you. He is not a match for you. In general, many people live like this, protesting. Against mom, against dad. They take one position or another. But you have no idea how miraculous a parental blessing is. I'm asking to take this serious, dear ones. Everyone who is in the audience now, everyone who will watch this video later. It seems that a parental blessing is a formality. I have a good relationship with my parents. Why would I ask anything? Just come and ask your parents for a parental blessing. For your marriage. Even if you've been married for 15 years, just come to them and say, Mom, Dad, bless me that I'm married to my husband. Or bless me for such and such a thing. For your business, for your life. If you are a parent and you have adult children, this is important for them. They just don't know of its existence. So they don't write about it in their letter to Santa Claus. The blessing of parents is a very important thing. Tell your daughter, I bless you for your life.
I bless you for your life.
How do you feel?
Nice.
Give Mom the microphone. Now, Mom, I bless you for your life.
I bless you for your life. Thank you.
It's very warm, isn't it? Love is spreading.
I want to come to them.
Well, come on. There is such a practice. It's called a sandwich. Hug Dad and squeeze her between you like in a sandwich. This pose is the most healing for your children and for you as children. If you can ask your mom and dad to hug you like this, ask them to hug you. Assign the figures of dad and mom to be hugged. If suddenly there is no access to dad. But if there is an opportunity to interact with your living parents like a child, it will be something amazing. How do you feel?
It feels so gentle, calm, and goosebumps run all over the body.
You're a magical girl. You're making such a big thing. Are you currently working in your profession?
Well, not really. In medicine, I work more in psychology.
Thank you. I'll let you go then. I have a beautiful girl here, and I'll let you go, yes. We discussed one option when Dad is not in the system at all. But there is another extreme. When the relationship with Dad is very good. I'm going to suggest you some phrases, and we'll see how your soul and your body will respond. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I am
the
main woman
the main woman
for my dad,
for my dad,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Dad,
Dad,
I love you very much.
I love you very much.
Mom,
Mom,
move over.
move over.
I'm cooler than you,
I'm cooler than you,
and Dad is mine,
and Dad is mine,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I'm still, energetically, married to my dad,
married to my dad,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Say, no other man
No other man
can match Dad,
can match Dad,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I'm constantly
that I'm constantly
getting into
love
love triangles,
triangles,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Do you have that in your life?
As for the energetic fact that I am my dad's wife, I have now said it more or less calmly, simply because I was at the session where I lived through this situation, and thank you for helping me to finish it. Something in my back has come to life now. As for triangles, I've been married for 10 years now. That is, in general, I love my husband and Dad.
But not equally?
Well, yeah. No. Careful. Of course, Dad is a big figure in my life.
How old are you?
I'm 29,
You're 29, and your husband is...
39. While you were working with Elena, I was working too. I understood what was going on, So this is also about me. All the situations that were revealed to her, they are in my family too, both doctors and a child.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that some part of me
that some part of me
is protecting me right now.
is protecting me right now.
It's uncomfortable for me
It's uncomfortable for me
to dig into personal stories in front of so many people,
in front of so many people,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Look, in general, I don't have the task to invade your inner world. But even if you don't let me in at all, there will be some kind of double message in what is happening here. I can enter some of your inner territory and you will refuse me. But then they won't see. And you won't see.
Okay, I'm ready. I believe and I want to go further.
But it can be unpleasant.
I understand.
But I don't have the task to hurt you.
I understand that.
I have a task to drag all of you through your story.
I want to help myself and everyone.
Thank you. Your husband is 10 years older than you?
Yes.
Does he take care of you?
Yes.
Protects you?
In every possible way.
Looks over you?
Of course.
Constantly.
Yes.
When you met, was there some story that a third woman was looming on the horizon all the time? Maybe he was not free, or he was free, but some ex got out somewhere? Maybe there was no ex, but it seemed like he was choosing between you and someone else. Maybe there was someone nearby and you had questions about her?
He was free, but there were other women who dated him before. They would like to continue their relationship, to communicate with him.
Has any woman have appeared on his site again for the last 10 years that you have been together?
No. Mom, his mom, there was a lot of her, but no other women.
Were there no female partners?
No.
Good. Are we sure we're moving on?
Let's move on. Maybe I'm blind. I don't know.
I don't have a task to convict Anya of something, expose her, and so on. I rely on the arrangement of the structures. When a girl becomes a beloved daddy's daughter, then at the age of about 5 to 7 years, boys have the same thing, only in the opposite direction with their mothers. The Oedipus complex, or Electra syndrome, manifests itself. The Oedipus complex and Electra syndrome is when a girl says, "Dad, I'll marry you," and begins to reject her mother as a sexual object for Dad, and as a woman for Dad, and begins to fight for this place of a woman for Dad, squeezing her mother out in every possible way. If the girl, the daughter, succeeds in this, she comes in and says, "I'm going to marry Dad." Mom, move. These girls may be really strong. They are energetically advanced, and the daughter can push the mother away from her parents' relationship. She managed to take the throne next to her dad. The healthy version of Oedipus complex and Electra syndrome suggests that the father should reject the daughter in favor of the mother. When dad demonstrates this, daughter, I love you, but I am married to my wife, and this is my beloved woman. My wife is my beloved woman, and you will find another man who suits you. This rejection by the father is an incredibly important process in the formation of the girl's psyche. And it is important for her to live through this rejection at the age of 5 or 7, when she fights for her father, but her father rejects her. When this does not happen, then until adulthood, the girl grows up thinking that she is the coolest one and the sun and the joy and daddy's beloved daughter. Her mom is somehow below her level. There may be claims to her mom about her fulfillment, her ugliness, or her cooking the food wrong, or that she grumbles at dad all the time, and he is such a sacred person. How does he tolerate her? All sorts of claims and supremacy over mom. What about your relationship with mom?
It's fine now. She is a great woman, but we had some stuff.
Did you have any claims to your mom?
I had a difficult relationship with my mother, yes, a little tense, despite the fact that mom is very gentle, kind. It's hard to argue with her. It was probably me.
Well, she's not defending her place.
She did not defend her place. But an interesting fact is that at the age of 5 or 7, the family moved to a neighboring town to live, and my mother left me to live with my grandmother for 2 years.
She got rid of you in her own way.
In her own way. My elder brother left, my dad left. My mom said, well, you'll live here for now.
That's cool.
You'll be better off here with Grandma. I haven't remembered this for 27 years.
That's cool. To complete the process, I need another girl who is Daddy's favorite daughter. Yes, go ahead. A beautiful, beloved Daddy's daughter. Do you understand why I'm calling the second person? I will calibrate the device with 2 stories instead of 1. Hi. What is your name?
Helen.
Helen?
Yes.
Is that your birth name?
Yes.
Cool. And what is your patronymic?
Gigamovna.
Awesome. Where were you born?
I was born in Samara, but grew up in Tuapse.
Ellen Gigamovna is the...
I'm Armenian.
You're Armenian, cool. How beautiful you are. Ellen, okay. And your dad's name is...
In Russian, his name is Hera. It's more convenient.
And in Armenia?
Gegam.
Cool. And are you Daddy's favorite daughter?
Yes.
Good. Are you married?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
And your husband?
He is 35.
Is he a good dad?
Very.
Daddy's beloved daughters are unconsciously looking for a dad. Women who had a stepfather instead of dad in their life will unconsciously look for a dad partner. At some stage, someone can skip it quickly, at the age of 15 to 17. At the age of 17, she dates with a 45-year-old man. This happens. So then at that level, they work out the dad. Pull him out. Good. You have a 7-year difference.
About that.
What kind of relationship do you have with your mom? What's your mom's name, and what's their relationship?
Mom's name is Lilith.
Whoa.
Our relationship was different. It's good now.
But it wasn't, was it?
Oh.
Did you manage to move mom from mom's place at the initial stage?
100%.
Good. Have you ever found a man engaged with another woman incredibly attractive? Maybe they were married, or maybe you ended up on some side of the isosceles triangle.
It was once, but in general, I was not attracted to married men.
Were they attracted to you?
Yes.
Бывает такое, что если вот этот код есть в жизни женщины, то
It happens like this. A woman has this code in her life, and incoming offers often come from married men.
женатых мужчин. Хорошо. А сколько лет
Good.
ты замужем?
How many years have you been married?
6 months.
Как ты познакомилась?
How did you meet your husband?
I went to Armenia in February 2022. Actually, many people went there then, and I met a Russian guy.
A Russian guy?
Но в Армении.
Yes.
But in Armenia.
А он-то там как оказался?
How did he end up there?
The same way,
А у него
actually.
корни армянские.
Is he Armenian?
A little bit. 25%.
It's not a little bit.
Это не чуть-чуть. Понимаете, тигры с
You see,
лёжками
tigers
не
don't breed with
размножаются.
hedgehogs.
Если у тебя не чуть-чуть, а он
So you
вдруг
are
в
not a little
Армению, русский
And all of
типа
a sudden he
парень,
goes to Armenia, a Russian
где-то
guy.
там наколочка.
There is some trick here.
Ну, в смысле, обманщик.
I mean, a deception. Is he 25% Armenian?
Well, something like that.
Не где-то
Not
так.
something like that.
Там есть
There is
такой
such a
код.
code.
Yes.
Хорошо.
Good.
В общем, в любом
In general, no one confesses to be in love triangles.
все священные, прекрасные
You all are sacred and beautiful women.
И, нет,
And no, 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 no way, no one has anything.
Я расскажу
Good.
про каких-то там,
I'll tell you about some other women. They are far, far away.
а недалеко
There are
далеко,
very
их
few of
очень
them,
мало,
somewhere in the
где-то
desert,
вот
you
в
know?
тундре, понимаешь?
Everything is fine with
Как у
you.
них. Нет, не у
No one
вас.
is cheating on
У
anyone.
вас все хорошо, никто никому
There are
не
no love
изменяет,
triangles.
любовных треугольников нет,
You are not
женатые
attracted to
мужчины
married men.
не привлекли- мы вообще
We're all
нормальные.
normal.
Ты? Женатых? Так, ладно,
All
в
right.
общем, мне нужна нормальная любовница, которая не
In general, I need a
выпендривается.
normal lover who does not
И
show
которая
off and who is ready to tell
готова
honestly
честно
how this
говорить,
happened.
Было дело.
Let's save your honor
Сохрани
and
честь и
dignity.
достоинство.
Thank you.
Вот, вот.
And
И
yours.
твоё. Давайте нормальные девки, которые
Come
с,
on, normal girls who
женатыми
date married men. Here, come on.
Вот, давай, вот ты,
Here you
давай.
go.
А то я, блин,
And I
тяну,
damn
тяну,
pull,
тяну,
pull,
тяну,
pull.
тяну. Вот, давай, и
Here,
блондинка
come on.
девушка,
And the blonde
давай.
girl.
Тяну,
I pull and
тяну. А я
pull,
понимаю,
but they
что
realize that
там
marriage is
на
at
кому-то
stake.
брак стоит, замужем, счастливо
And they say
замужем.
married,
И
happily
начинаешь,
married.
когда со дна сгребаешь,
When you scoop this dirt from the bottom, it immediately becomes uncomfortable, either in front of your husband or in front of her.
Вот, вот,
Here, someone was preparing.
готовился.
Come on.
Давай. А то, блин,
I try to clean it up, but they're all
гребанище
decent and they love their
приличные,
husbands.
и мужа любят.
But, like, he's here too.
Молодцы, развиваются люди,
Well
понимаете?
done. People are developing, you know. They are working on
Работают над
themselves.
собой. Надеюсь, его жена
I hope
не
his wife is not here.
Мы ей не покажем.
We won't show her.
Как тебя
What
зовут?
is your name?
Paulina.
And you?
Lyra.
Лера и Полина.
Lira and Polina.
Какие у тебя отношения с
What's your relationship with Dad like?
Well, when I was 7, they divorced, separated. We didn't communicate until 21, and now once a year.
Папа
Do you
любишь?
love Dad?
Well, I came to this now. I took his last name a month ago.
Молодец.
Well done.
Почиталась?
Have you read a lot of useful information?
Молодец.
Well done.
Молодец,
Well done, my
зая
fluffy
мой
bunny.
пушистый.
Yes, I had my mom's. At first, I had his last name. Then I took my mother's. Then back.
Молодец.
Well done. So what's your relationship with
Как у тебя
Dad
отношения с
like?
папой?
Daddy's daughter.
Ой, ты ж моя
Oh, you're my
зайка.
bunny.
My mother died at 16. When I was a kid, we had serious competition.
But then you dealt with her for good?
Seems like it.
All right, good. How are you?
I'm shaking a bit.
Well, I see there's just a vibration all over the body. Good. Damn, the area has changed somehow. It's harder to row. Julia, you've asked for it yourself. Okay, fine. Are you in love triangle right now?
Well, I really want to get out of it. They divorced 2 months ago, but it's still going on.
What do you mean it's going on?
Our relationship is going on,
Like male-female?
and theirs too. It's true for us, and I hope it's not for them.
How did you meet?
At the training.
I told you, normal guys. They develop. All right. Do you have a man?
Well, I'm in triangles all the time.
What about now?
No.
No?
There is this guy also with a girl, and I like him.
You really like him, don't you?
Yes.
Do you like someone not married?
They are unmarried, but still in a relationship. Or unavailable.
Okay, that's good. We are in the right spot. At a certain age, in theory, Dad should reject his daughter in favor of his wife. If this does not happen, then the daughter's psyche is looking for a cool dad in another object that can reject her. Who has the power to say, "Daughter, I don't love you. I love your mom"? Then the girl's unconscious is looking for a partner. Who has some relations with another woman nearby. Mom. A partner represents her dad, and that woman represents her mom. So the triangle lasts until at least this brave and wonderful man can reject her properly and choose another woman. That is her mom. Then unconsciously, such girls and women form love triangles, either immediately or later. No, 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 I'm decent. No way. And she married a free man. Everything was fine. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, a mistress appeared. And you're now on the other side of the same love isosceles triangle. You represent a wife. A third woman appears. As long as you're competing with mom to see which one of you is cooler, you're unconsciously competing with all women. When there is no understanding that you are valuable, it's not because I cook tasty soup, not because I'm smart. I had trainings and I'm a fine girl, and I'm cooler, not because I earn more, not because I'm attentive to him, not because I'm helpful. Who likes to be helpful? Sometimes women do not let housekeepers, nannies, and cooks into their house, saying, "What am I going to do? I'm a wife. I ought to cook him borscht. I owe him that. If these chores are gone, what will I do?" Somewhere deep down, you compete with your mom for a place next to dad. competing with mom for a place next to dad. Then an endless number of women start coming into your space, and you compete with them. See how the mechanics work? When I do not know my basic goodness, it's not because I've done something, not because I meet criterion, but because I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm good. Then the psyche tries to put a ruler next to it. So it would be impossible to measure in centimeters how good am I as a woman. Your psyche can take another woman as this ruler. Then it satisfies itself comparing some characteristics. I'm better here. My figure is better. I'm good here, but she's not like that. I'm better here, and she's not, and so on. When it's unclear, you take another woman, put her next to you, and think, well, damn, her legs are longer. Oh man, her breasts are bigger. Damn, but I cut cucumbers better. Okay. Yes, do you have this habit?
100%.
Do you compare yourself to other women?
Of course, and the constant competition with his wife.
Yes.
Of course.
Do you realize what an incredibly awesome role this holy woman is playing for you?
I love her very much. We've talked more than once.
Talked? Did you divide him? We divide an orange. There are many of us, but it's only one. You know, you can't go through this without jokes. This topic is very difficult, dear ones.
When they got divorced, it became uninteresting right away.
Yes, of course. Do you understand? Therefore, thank God that he still contacts her. Thank God that he continues to sleep with her. Because otherwise you don't have enough fuel for life without it. He becomes uninteresting to you. And she is the force for progress in your relationship. It's hard for now, but we're coming through.
Yes, we're coming through.
Does she know everything?
Of course.
Oh, thank God. All right, what's her name?
Alyona.
Do we have Alyona here? Yes, come here. Lovely Alyona, come here.
I had triangles before that, and there were Anyas all the time. I'm so glad it's Alyona this time. Really.
You see, a woman with experience. Guys, how do you even choose them? I don't understand at all. How can you choose among so many incredibly beautiful women in this world? You go out onto the avenue, and there's a modeling agency casually sauntering. I'm watching and thinking, thank God I wasn't born a man. It's impossible to choose at all. It's hard to choose. There is a beauty next to another beauty. Alyona?
Alyona.
Awesome. Are you married?
Divorced.
So hush. Hush, okay? Do you have a partner now?
It's yes and no.
Haven't you decided yet?
Well, I explained to myself that it's he who hasn't decided.
Oh, does he have any other women?
He's married to his work.
It's the same thing. It doesn't matter. Does he earn a lot?
Yes.
Well done. Your mom is Natasha. So do we have Natasha in the hall? I need Natasha. Is your mom a classy dame or a simple Russian woman?
She is a simple Russian woman, plump with short hair.
Okay, Natasha's, raise your hands again. Well, I can't find a plump one, but there is a pretty Natasha. Let's go on with you, with the pretty one.
She's pretty, of course.
Well, I found you a very pretty Natasha. How are you? Fine? Have you already dragged out all your lovers, mistresses? She is so beautiful.
100% hits.
So who do you have?
I've been in a relationship with my lover for 20 years. He became my husband, and we've been together for 20 years. He leaves, rejects, pulls me back, and rejects again.
Is there another woman?
Well, I think there should be women.
Thank God. Guys, we have a new airplay coming up. Good. Look, this is your mom's figure. Do you see her?
Yes, I do.
What do you feel towards her?
I have very good feelings. When I came here, I wanted to cry, although now I don't communicate with my mom a little bit.
A little bit? What do you mean?
Well, I blocked her 2 weeks ago.
Which one of you put the blocking?
I did.
Did you? Say, Mom,
Mom,
I'm cooler than you,
I'm cooler than you.
and I give it space.
And I give it space.
And I spend all my life force.
And I spend all my life force
So that you
so that you
pay attention to me.
pay attention to me.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
I wanted to take Dad away from you,
I wanted to take Dad away from you
so that you'll definitely notice me.
so that you'll definitely notice me.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
Look at the figure of your man's ex-wife. Say, I've got it all wrong.
I've got it all wrong.
I confused you and my mom,
I confused you and my mom.
and I competed with you
And I competed with you
for my dad.
for my dad.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
Say, but you're not my mom.
You're not my mom.
Now the trick. This is the figure of the women you are competing with. I'm pulling your mother out of her. What feelings do you have towards her?
Well, I like her and there are no bad feelings. But I want more connection.
What feelings do you have towards her?
Well, I feel like it's like an empty space. It's like this for now.
Good. Tell your mom I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that some part of me,
that some part of me,
Mom,
Mom,
thought you were
thought you were
an empty space,
an empty space.
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
the way I treated you,
the way I treated you,
and I thought you were an empty space.
and I thought you were an empty space.
I felt myself,
I felt myself
an empty space,
an empty space
when I wasn't chosen.
when I wasn't chosen.
And now I know how it feels.
And now I know how it feels.
Tell her, all this time I wanted you to become an empty place.
All this time, I wanted you to become an empty space.
And in the end, I myself.
And in the end, I myself
Became an empty space.
became an empty space.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
The world is totally fair. And what feeling, what attitude you send out comes back and sticks into you. When you don't respect your mother, consider her an empty space. Belittle her contribution to your man and to you. By the way, you wouldn't go to trainings if it weren't for this beautiful woman. And if it wasn't for her, you wouldn't have much right now.
It's the fact. I am aware of it.
Now, we'll sort it out. Are you ready to go into deep respect for those women with whom you competed?
Yes.
And break this pride?
Yes.
We have a proven method.
On my knees?
Hold on. Let's start from afar. Come on, say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that all my anger, helplessness,
worthlessness,
I wanted to put into you,
I wanted
to put into you.
to put into you.
I was transferring into you
I was transferring into you
all my negative feelings
all my negative feelings
about myself, and I give it space.
and I give it space.
The system is amazingly designed. You can show off all your reincarnations. The world is in no hurry. It's just, people usually break themselves in such systems. That's it. How do you feel?
This happens very often in my life. I know about it. I know everyone.
I'll show every one of you, yes? So you're the same.
Of course.
What the hell should I do with your pride? It doesn't fit, you know? It doesn't fit. It's just such big pride. So I need pride in the studio. We're barely coming through. Now I'm going to get through my pride first. Oh, what a beautiful pride. Let's pick you up. Look at her, just tra-ta-ta. Let's find her a sister friend, Misery. We need Misery. 1 second. We need someone with a vivid, miserable misery. Yes, come on. Here you are, from the second row. You can't go through this at the basic level. It's not enough to say, that's how you're built, you're competing. And you're like, yeah, we got it, don't compete anymore. You stand here as figures in this area. And she looks at it and says, an empty place. She begins to admit her negative feelings. She gets up and says, I actually know the whole list. You all are going to pay for this. And she gets a negative impulse back. Do you understand? I'm going through this layer and I understand that the only possible way is to play a fighting game here. Mortal Kombat. Good. Well, these two little sister friends, Pride and Misery, get along together perfectly. How are you feeling and what is your name?
Good evening. My name is Lilia. My heart is beating, goosebumps all over my body, and fever.
Say, I have a lot of energy.
I have a lot of energy.
Let's get your decent Lilia out of you. The one who knows everything and good. We need someone who will show the image to the audience. A decent Lily has been removed. Pride remains. How are you feeling and what is your name?
My name is Elena. I feel really bad. Some parts of me struggle and torment me all the time.
Do you feel worthless?
Well, I have feelings like that too.
Let me then pull Elena out of you, a decent person who holds on. And only Misery will remain.
It's hard to hold on now.
This is the part of you that says, you're nobody, you're worthless, an empty space. Everyone is better than you. By the way, the whole beauty industry is based on it. You'll use some cream, you'll make boobs, and you'll be the best.
I have my own.
It's true for you, but not for the rest. They need to match somehow. This part gives life to cosmetology. You'll put it there, powder it here, and you'll be a queen. So you're okay.
I'm barely coming through.
Are you? We actually started with Dad. Do you remember the topic of this show? The topic of this show is Dad. And Dad is missing. It's so complicated in here. We discuss him. Everything is about him, but he is absent. We started with Dad. What's your dad's name?
Alexander.
Do we have any Alexanders here? So, one Alexander. Come on, Alexander. You will be Dad. All of these women fought here, you know? This is your mom and your dad. Let's step aside for now. Paulina is in trouble here. How are you?
It's calmer.
Of course.
In my own environment.
All right. This is the woman you're competing with. The names change periodically.
They start with A. They start with A.
They start with A. A is the first letter in the alphabet. All right. And then your Pride and Misery come out. Come closer to her, girls.
I don't like it.
It's all yours. You live with them every day, and thanks to them.
Yeah.
She has nothing to do with it at all.
Ну, в смысле, она свое гребет.
I mean, she has her own problems.
Как ты
How
себя
do you feel?
чувствуешь?
It's shaking, but I'm holding on.
Твои?
Are they yours?
Yes, they are.
Одна семейка Адамс.
One Adam's family.
Так, что к
So what's
маме?
between you and mom?
I don't see her now. The pride is.
Скажи, я
Say, I
признаю
acknowledge and
и
accept
I acknowledge and accept
свою
my
гордыню
pride,
my pride,
и даю
and I
ей
give it
место.
space.
and I give it
Я
space.
со своей
Out of my
гордыней
pride,
Out of my pride,
Я со своей гордыней
I can see neither mom
I can see neither
не
mom
вижу ни мать,
ни других
no other
женщин,
women,
nor other women,
но
but I
чётко
know it
знаю,
clearly
but I know it clearly
that I need to
с
fight
ними
them,
бороться,
что мне
that I
надо
need
с
to
ними
fight them,
бороться,
чтобы
to
доказать,
prove
чтобы
to
доказать,
prove
that I'm cooler.
что я
that I'm cooler. I need to sit down.
Sit down.
не могу стоять. Не провожу.
I can't take it.
А это несущая конструкция.
This is a bearing
дорогие.
structure, dear ones.
Это несущая конструкция.
This is a bearing structure, and these young ladies,
И вот эти вот барышни,
they can be
их
put
можно поставить, ну, тут можно
here. You
есть
could
темы
declare any
разные
topic:
выбить. Работа,
work, relationships with clients, relationships with girlfriends.
отношения с подругами. А блюдо то же самое.
But the dish is the same.
Как себя
How do you feel?
Очень плохо.
Very bad.
Скажи, я
Say,
признаю
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
my
свою
pride,
my pride,
и
and I
даю
give it
место.
space.
and I give it
Я
space.
признаю
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
свою
my misery,
my misery,
и
and
даю
I give it
место.
space.
and I give it space.
Моя
My
убогость,
misery
My misery
убогость
helps me to move forward,
вперед,
helps me to move forward,
чтобы
to
я
improve
себя
myself.
Чтобы я себя
to
улучшала.
improve myself.
Скажи, я на
Say, I go to
тренинги
trainings,
Я на тренинги
I go to
хожу,
trainings,
на шоу,
to shows,
на
to
шоу,
shows,
и там даже
and I
смущаюсь.
even met a man there,
and I even met a man there,
познакомилась.
and I give it space.
И я
and I give
даю
it
ему
space.
Как
How's the
мама
mom
себя
feeling?
чувствует?
Тяжеловато. Потому что я вот
It's hard because I'm only in misery, as if I always lose.
Скажи, я признаю
Say, I
и
acknowledge and
принимаю,
accept
я признаю. Я признаю. и
I
принимаю,
acknowledge and accept
что я убога
that I stole this misery
that I stole this misery
свистнула у
from my
мамы.
mom.
from my mom,
у мамы.
И я даю это.
And I give it space.
И я даю этому
and I give it space.
Как ты себя чувствуешь?
How do you feel?
ужасно.
Awful.
2 недели назад ты
2 weeks
думала,
ago,
что
did you think that
когда
when you
ты
block your mom on the
закончишь,
phone, that this would be the end of it?
всё закончится? Скажи, мама,
Say, Mom,
Мама,
Mom,
I'm sorry.
прости меня.
I'm sorry.
мне
I
очень
am so sorry.
Мне
I am
очень
so sorry.
но я не
but
могу
I can't handle
справиться
но я не
But I
могу
can't
справиться
handle
со своей
my
гордыней.
pride and my misery yet.
со своей гордыней и убогой.
my pride and my misery yet.
Окей, пойдем.
Okay, let's go with you.
Какие чувства у тебя к маме?
What are your feelings for your mom?
Хорошие.
Good ones. But
Но
Скажи, я
Say,
признаю,
I acknowledge and
я
accept
признаю,
I
что
acknowledge and
что
accept
всё время
that all this
хотела
time I
скрыть,
wanted to hide
that all this time I wanted to
my
hide
feelings.
свои чувства
my feelings.
попадаешь.
You said it right.
А вы, когда замасливаете и говорите,
When you
«Всё
hide your true
хорошо,
feelings and say, we're fine, we're great, I treat my mom well, I love everyone, and I treat my dad well, everything is fine,
папе хорошо, ко всем все хорошо», то вы не
then you don't pull out the unpleasant things that you have inside. And there's nothing you can do about it, because as long as you're fine, the problems are suppressed, and you're not working with them. How are you?
Я соглашаюсь с тем, что она говорит.
I agree with what she says. It's all about me.
Я говорю, что
I say that I'm fine.
чтобы ты меня заблочила, чтобы ты меня сравняла.
Come on, do we have backup? Get up next to her. How do you feel?
Calm.
It's your mom's figure, too. Let's get through this.
А то я не вывожу.
Because I can't take it.
How do you feel?
По отношению к
I feel superiority and a little pity towards Mom. That's fine.
Pride is getting out. Yes? She represents the misery, you know. She represents the pride. She represents the misery. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I walk infinitely
that I walk infinitely
in this circle.
in this circle.
Pride and misery.
Pride and misery.
Misery and pride.
Misery and pride.
Sometimes I'm the coolest.
Sometimes I'm the coolest.
Sometimes I'm worthless.
Sometimes I'm worthless.
Then the pendulum goes in the opposite direction,
Then the pendulum goes in the opposite direction,
and I give it space.
даю этому место.
and I give it space.
And in this trajectory,
And in this trajectory,
there is no way out.
there is no way out.
You see, it's a dead end. Pride and misery, misery and pride. A dead end. As long as you walk in these terms and in these concepts, it's the same circle. To hide the pride, I'm the coolest. And then, I can't name a price for my services. I'm nothing. An upstart. You can even read the comments under the video. Someone writes thank you, and someone writes the contrary. Girls, this is what keeps the universe going. The whole universe is based on this, on these beautiful things. Dad, you've opened up a cool topic. How is Dad feeling?
More than I am.
More than he is. Great. Pay attention to this. This is a very important thing. I need another figure. Now. No, no, and no. You. Man, I really need you. Are you ready to become a star? Yes? Come on. I'll make you a God figure. Come here. Say, Dad,
Dad,
I've got it all wrong.
I've got it all wrong.
I confused you and the God.
I confused you and the God.
I pull the figure of God out of Dad. And God is standing next to him. And this is Dad. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that Dad and God,
that Dad and God,
it's not the same thing.
it's not the same thing,
And I give it space.
and I give it space.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family
all those in my family
and in my reincarnations
and in my reincarnations
who lived the script
who lived the script
of the Immaculate Conception
of the Immaculate Conception
of the Virgin Mary,
of the Virgin Mary,
and I give them space.
and I give them space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it,
at which I got it,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Let me explain to others what happened. There is a figure of the Dad. I ask, how do you feel? I've already realized that he's standing like a figure of God. He says, I'm more. He begins to describe himself. as the figure of God usually does. I understand that she put God in him. As long as there is no God in your system, then you start to get messy. Pride and misery, misery and pride, pride and misery. Either I am the greatest, I am God, or I am worthless. Sometimes great, sometimes worthless. And in this duality, there is no way out. As long as you resist misery, you fall into pride. If you resist pride, you'll fall into misery. I don't have the right to live. I can't manifest myself. Am I professional enough to say what I'm saying? I probably need to get a 7th degree to be worthwhile. And so on and so on. It keeps you in this circle. The way out is through God. When you admit that God exists and you are not Him, and that everything is happening here by the will of God, and that you are not great enough to decide the fate and lives of other people. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I got everything wrong.
that I got everything wrong.
I thought
that
I can sort everything out,
I can sort everything out,
that I can choose any man,
that I can choose any man,
manage his relationships, and other people's fates,
and other people's fates,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Say, God,
God,
I'm not almighty.
I'm not almighty,
And I give it space.
and I give it space.
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
my misery,
my misery,
and I give her space.
and I give her space.
Here you can see the figure of God was placed in the dad, thereby excluding God. He is in her dad. According to mythology, we recall the Immaculate Conception from the Lord God in the script of the Virgin Mary. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family
all those in my family
and in my reincarnations,
and in my reincarnations,
women
women
who competed
who competed
for a man
for a man
with other women,
with other women,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that
at
experience
exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family
all those in my family
and in my reincarnations,
and in my reincarnations,
men who was confused with God, and I give them space.
and I give them space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
Say, and it seems
And it seems
that in my system,
that in my system,
man and God,
man and God,
it was the same thing.
it was the same thing,
And I give it space.
and I give it space.
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family
all those in my family
and in my reincarnations,
and in my reincarnations,
women
women
who built the relationship
who built the relationship
with men
with men
on the distance
on the distance
and said prayers before the photo,
and said prayers before the photo,
like before the icon.
like before the icon.
Say, when a man is around,
When a man is around,
he is not a god.
he is not a god.
Say, the God is in the distance
The God is in the distance
through a photo,
through a photo,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family
all those in my family
and in my reincarnations,
and in my reincarnations,
women
women
whose man went to war
whose man went to war
and didn't come back,
and didn't come back,
and for the rest of their lives,
and for the rest of their lives,
they didn't get married.
they didn't get married.
They were married
They were married
to a photo,
to a photo,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it,
at which I got it,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Are there people in the hall whose grandmothers never got married for the rest of their lives?
Mine.
Yours? Your grandma is married to the photo.
Seems like it, but Mom didn't get married either. I have a child from my first married man. He has also been such a powerful figure for me for quite a long time.
You know, when a man and God are confused and when women pray before a photo, he left 20 years ago, but the photo is still there. And look, there he was. As long as he's not around, you know. Then her psyche unconsciously chooses a man who can be not nearby for sure, but somewhere out there. Thank God there is this story. It helps you to ensure that he's not around all the time. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that some part of me
that some part of me
is married
is married
to God,
to God,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it,
at which I got it,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Paulina, what about you? Do you have a story with a photo and a long-distance relationship?
For 6 years, I have been in a relationship with a man who lives in different countries of the world, and we periodically meet somewhere once a year, and he also has a woman, of course.
These are the God's brides. Get acquaint with them. No man is a match for the God. Every single man around will be worse than him. And then you unconsciously attract men with your psyche who can reject you effectively and who can escape effectively.
They are even older.
They are older, on a business trip, somewhere out there, so that you can only pray before the photo and on Skype. She is a saint, you know, a holy man.
I can't take it, really.
You're doing great. If you couldn't take it, you wouldn't have been brought here. Say, and some part of me
And some part of me
is really afraid
is really afraid
to change something.
to change something.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I'm loyal
that I'm loyal
to my grandmother,
to my grandmother,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Say, Grandma,
Grandma,
I wanted to fix your fate,
I wanted to fix your fate,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the
at
price
which I got it.
at which I got it.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that from my grandma,
that from my grandma,
I stole
I stole
grief.
grief.
She's been grieving all her life
She's been grieving all her life
for Grandpa.
for Grandpa.
I've decided to save my grandmother
I've decided to save my grandmother
and take
and take
a part of that grief
a part of that grief
that belonged to her.
that belonged to her.
You told a story about 2 years. The 2 years... No, another girl said that her grandmother raised her for some time.
My grandmother raised me too.
Yes?
And my grandmother's name, by the way, is Maria, like the Virgin Mary.
All right. I need a grandmother to embody her. Yes, you. You suit perfectly for the role of grandmother. What a beautiful grandmother. What's your name?
Svetlana.
Svetlana. Is grandma alive or not?
No, she died. This is my great-grandmother, but she is so close to me that she is like a grandmother. I grew up with her and named my daughter after her.
What was your grandma's name? Mom's mom.
Nina.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I have excluded from the system
that I have excluded from the system
my grandmother Nina,
my grandmother Nina,
and I give her space.
and I give her space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
Look, she even wants to confuse me. She talks about grandmother, but she's actually a great-grandmother. But she's like a grandmother to me. Dear ones, you can't do that to your grannies. They are valuable people in this life. How do you feel?
I'm swaying.
Of course. Good. Say, I see you.
I see you.
I can put here a grandmother from the 15th generation here, whom you don't even know or what her name was. She didn't even have a last name. There is a programming code. We take this code out.
She looks like Nina very much.
Yes? Finally. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that our souls are connected.
that our souls are connected.
And no matter how they were connected before,
And no matter how they were connected before,
in this life,
they
are connected as a soul of a grandma
they are connected as a soul of a grandma
and the soul of a granddaughter.
and the soul of a granddaughter.
And that's right.
And that's right.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
How do you feel?
A lump.
In the throat?
It's here in my chest.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I have my own destiny,
that I have my own destiny,
and you have your own destiny,
and you have your own destiny,
and everything is right in your destiny,
and everything is right in your destiny,
and everything is right in my destiny,
and everything is right in my destiny,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
How do you feel?
I'm swaying.
Why are you swaying? All right, Grandma, stay here. How do you feel?
It's getting calm, and the system seems to be building up correctly. It's like everything is mixed up. I pushed my mom away, and now everything is falling into place. At least my mom is getting into her place, and I feel so calm. She nominated her mother.
Did she? Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I gave birth to children
that I gave birth to children
from a man
from a man
and not with God.
and not with God.
How do you feel?
I also want to repeat that I gave birth to children from a man and not from the God.
Yes. Do you feel how your father is turning into a man now?
My right leg is numb.
Yours?
I can't.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that all this time
I
was building a relationship
was building a relationship
with men,
with men,
and I have a child with a man,
and I have a child with a man
and not with God.
and not with the God.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
Look at him and say, God,
God,
I can't be your wife.
I can't be your wife.
I am human,
I am human,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I can only marry
I can only marry
a man,
a man,
a human being.
a human being,
And have children from him,
and have children from him,
also humans.
also humans,
And I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it,
And I give it space.
and I give it space.
What happens with the pride at this moment? Come a little closer so that we can see you.
I can feel everything that's happening to her. I want to sit down. My legs hurt. I want to kneel next to her.
Come here, right under the knees. And you too. Yes, yes, sit down.
I can do this too.
Wait, one at a time. Dad, come here. Stand nearby. Tell Dad, I see you.
I see you.
How do you feel?
It's hard.
How do you feel?
Calmly, and I really want to help her. I understand what process is going on. I'm saying it. I'm going back to my body.
Come here. How do you like this figure now?
I like it now.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
you as a woman,
you as a woman,
and I give you space.
and I give you space.
You have the right
You have the right
to be at your place
to be at your place
in the system.
in the system.
I respect you
I respect you
as an ex-wife
as an ex-wife
of my man.
of my man.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
She as an ex-wife and you as your husband's ex-wife are forever part of this system.
I know.
When you, being the second wife, the third wife, the fifth, 17th, 50th wife, do not respect ex-wives, then you send disrespect to the woman and disrespect to the wife into the world. When you become a second wife, this boomerang returns to you and hits you between the shoulder blades. And you are also not respected as a wife. Some third character comes and says, the wife is not a wall, she will move. By not respecting those who were in the system before you, you do not respect not only them, but also their status itself, which is connected with them. She is an ex-wife. This is her rightful place. If you start to fight this, I am more important, I'm more valuable, I am more necessary. Even so, I'm in charge, and she's an empty space. Then fate begins to hit very hard. Exactly as a wife, as a woman, from all sides. And the solution is in an unobvious place. The first is respect for the mother. Why is respect for the mother important? A mother is the first woman in life of any person, any child. And no matter how your interactions with your mother are exposed, you have relationships with all the women around you in this image and likeness. Mom is a kind of archetype of all women in the world. And if you and mom compete, butt heads, who is more important, who is lower, who is higher, then you compete with the whole world of women. If you don't respect your mother as a woman, then this disrespect for your mother comes back to you with a deep disrespect for yourself as a woman. Then you go to women's trainings with the names like How to Feel Like a Woman, How to Become a Woman. You see, the joke is that the hedgehog does not go to trainings with the query, How to Become a True Hedgehog, and the dog does not go to the training, How to Become a Dog. A woman, if she was born in the body of a woman, she is already a woman, and she is one. That's it. It's an axiom. If suddenly you have a feeling inside that you are not a woman enough, not as feminine as a neighbor, ex-wife, real wife, then the solution is always in the first woman who gave you life, in the mother. And all that you sent to your mother, this disrespect, humiliation, empty space, domination, you'll have exactly the same inner feelings. I'm not very good at something. This is misery. If you have this misery, then the pride appears to compensate it somehow. Pride says, I'm the most awesome, my legs are longer, my breasts are bigger, my eyelashes are better. That's the swing that you're swaying. To get through this, you need to stop competing with other women. To remove this moment of competition altogether. All women are made of the same stuff. All women are made of the same stuff. When you deeply respect a woman and do not choose to humiliate her, do not choose to put her in some position of an empty space, when you do not choose this man just because he has a wife, no matter how much you like him, the very fact that he has a wife and you respect the status, that there is a wife there without knowing her, but the very fact that she is there is enough for you. And when you have enough respect for another woman and for her wife's status, then you become a wife to your man. No one else will pass this. If there is an inner persistent respect, like that I respect women and I respect other people's wives, and for me it is sacred and I do not compete there, it is taboo. When you build the structure inside, it becomes a circle of security for you. No one outside will encroach on your marriage because you do not encroach, because it's important for you, because it is valuable for you. When it's not valuable for you, you can take someone else's man away. Let him get divorced. But firstly, you will not be interested anymore. And secondly, when you become a new wife, Polina will appear, a beautiful woman, and everything will start over. And you'll continue to play this game endlessly.
It got easier.
Say, Mommy,
Mommy,
Thank you for my life.
thank you for my life.
Mommy,
Mommy,
I see you as a woman.
I see you as a woman.
I respect you as a woman.
I respect you as a woman.
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that you are the best woman
that you are the best woman
for my father.
for my father.
Say, Daddy,
Daddy,
thank you for my life.
thank you for my life.
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that you're not my man,
that you're not my man,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that you are the best man
that you are the best man
for my mom,
for my mom,
and I don't need to
and I don't need to
solve your problems,
your problems,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
And I am your child,
And I am your child,
and you are the best parents for me.
and you are the best parents for me.
Now you can sit like them near your parents' legs. Come here. Is she a first or a second wife of this man?
First,
First. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
you as the first wife
you as the first wife
of my man.
of my man.
How do you feel? Say, you're not my mom.
You're not my mom.
I thank you
I thank you
for your contribution
for your contribution
into my awareness.
into my awareness.
How do you feel?
I'm better now.
All good?
I want to sit on my knees.
Sit down. Let me disenchant you like other women she competed with and make you her mom. Stand here as her mom. Just get closer. How are you?
Calm. It's like some sort of protection appeared behind my back.
Of course. Mom and Dad create a sense of security. I think it turned out to be a beautiful work. I think that each of you has written down a lot of points for yourself for upcoming dialogues with people you need to talk, with whom you need to legalize something, restore relations, or break them, or to pull someone out. Thank you. That's all. Let's break up.